We are right now in the middle of the 7 weeks, the Shabbat Nachamu, the 7 weeks of Nechama, which follow Tisha B'Av. Why do we need 7 weeks of Nechama? 7 weeks of Nechama. Another question is that the 7 weeks of Nechama go straight through Elul, Chodesh Elul, right up to Rosh Hashana. So it seems that somehow Nechama has something to do with preparing oneself for Rosh Hashana, for doing tshuva. What in the world does Nechama have to do with Elul, the Shabbat Nachamu? What is Nechama B'chlal? We think that Nechama means to console someone, to make someone feel better. Someone lost something, and we try to share in their suffering. We try to console them. But the truth of the matter is, if you look in the Chumash, you'll see that the lashon of Nechama, what the word Nechama really means, is not to make someone feel better. It's not to console someone. The pasuk says that when Bnei Yisrael left Egypt, Omar Elokim, Pen Yinochim ha'amber oisa milchama v'shavim Mitzrayim. Kadosh Baruch Hu was afraid that if he took them the short way through the Midbar, they would be menachem. They'd have Nechama. They would change their mind, Rashi says. They would change their machshava. They would change their outlook. The Re'im, Rabbi Muzrachi, says that any time in Chumash when it says Nechama, Nechama means a total change of outlook. It's a different approach. That's what Nechama is. Nechama really means to be able to change totally how you're looking at something. The classic case of Nechama, probably the most famous Gemara, which everyone knows, is in the end of Makkas, when Rabbi Akiva is walking in Yerushalayim and he sees the Makam HaMikdash, and he's there with Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Lezer ben Azariah and with Rabbi Yeshua, and they start crying. And Rabbi Akiva is mitzachik. He's happy. And they ask him, Rabbi Akiva, look at what's going on. Why? Lama ta mitzachik? And he says to them, Lama ta boichin? Why are you crying? And they tell Rabbi Akiva, well, why are we crying? Look at the Churban, look at the destruction. We lost the Beis HaMikdash. We lost such a precious gift that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us. How can we not cry? And Rabbi Akiva says, when I look at this Churban, I have to be happy. Because when I see that Churban, I realize that the prophecies of Geula will be fulfilled. Because this was a stage, this was a step in reaching that Geula. Nechama, and they say to Rabbi Akiva, Akiva nechamtanu, you've been menachem us. Because Nechama means to give a person the ability to look at something with a totally new perspective. A totally different way of looking at something than he was looking at it before. They were looking back. They were looking at the past. They were looking at the Churban, and they saw such a tremendous loss. And they couldn't get over it because they were focused on what was. And Rabbi Akiva says, why are you looking back? Look forward. Look at what's going to come out of that Churban. Out of that Churban is going to come a tremendous Geula. Nechama is the ability to see something in a totally new perspective, to change our whole outlook. And that is why Rabbi Akiva was able to be menachem them, because Rabbi Akiva was able to show them a totally new perspective, a totally new way of looking at things. Tshuva is not about just saying, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. Tshuva, the true depth of tshuva is that a person looks into himself and realizes that he's a person who can turn his life around, who can change, who can totally begin a new chapter in his life. I'm not that old person, but I can be a totally new person. I can change, I can look at myself differently, I can create for myself a whole new world. That is exactly what Elul is all about. Elul is about a person looking into himself, and a person looking not at the past, not looking at what was, but looking at the future, what he can be. And that's why the Shabbat Nachamu has to be during Elul. Because that is what Nechama is. Nechama is to be able to see things differently. Mitzvah Hashem, we should all be Zoiche to the Nechama of Tzion in Yerushalayim, the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash. And we should be able to see in the Churban, we should be able to see the seeds of the Geula. And even more important, we should be able to look into ourselves and see in ourselves a new person, a better person, a person who can accomplish and can change and can grow. And we should all be Zeicher Mitzvah Hashem to a Ksiva and a Ksiva Teira.